Hey guys, today we're going to be making some homemade cookie mixes that you can store in the pantry. I'm going to show you how to make 4 of them. We're going to start off with the Cowboy Cookie mix. And for these, you're going to need some quart jars. Then you just layer the ingredients in. So we've got 1 1/3 cup of oats. We've got 1/2 cup of brown sugar and 1/2 cup of white sugar. 1/3 cup of pecans, 3/4 cup of chocolate chips. You'll have to take a spoon or something and kind of pack it in because it fills these jars pretty good. We got 1 1/3 cup of flour. One teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And here's your Cowboy Cookie mix. So to make this one, you're going to take 1/2 cup of butter that's already melted, an egg, and a teaspoon of vanilla, and you're going to cream those together. Then you're going to mix it into this mix, and you make balls, cookie balls, and you put them 2 inches apart on a greased cookie sheet, and then you bake them for 11 to 13 minutes at 350. The next one we're going to be making is a chocolate cookie mix. I've already put 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour in my jar, and I'm using a quart mason jar here. We're going to add in 3/4 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, 1/2 cup of chopped pecans, 1 cup of chocolate chips, 1 teaspoon each of baking powder, baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And here's your chocolate cookie mix. To make this one, you're going to need 3/4 cup of butter, softened, 1 egg, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You're going to cream those together. You'll mix it with your cookie mix. You'll roll it out in balls, space them 2 inches apart, and put them in a 350-degree oven for 11 to 13 minutes. Next, we're going to be making Ranger cookies. So in my 1 quart mason jar, I'm going to add 2 cups of Rice Krispies, 1/3 cup of coconut, 2/3 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And then 1 1/4 cups of flour. And you'll have to kind of smush it down. These jars get pretty packed with this stuff. Okay, here's the Ranger cookie mix. For this recipe, you're going to take a 1/3 cup of shortening, 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of milk, and a teaspoon of vanilla. You're going to cream all that together and mix it with your cookie mix. And you'll bake it for 8 to 9 minutes at 375 degrees. And the last one we're going to make is s'more squares. So I have 1 sleeve of graham cracker crumbs. I just blended mine up in the blender to make it easy. Put that in our jar, along with a 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 1.5 cups of mini marshmallows. I didn't have mini, so I just cut my big ones up. And 1 cup of chocolate chips. And here is our s'more squares mix. So with this one, you're going to melt a 1/2 cup of butter and a teaspoon of vanilla. Mix those together. Mix it with your jar mix here. You're going to put them into a greased 9-inch square pan and bake them at 350 for 15 minutes. Thank you guys for watching.